I just pulled up to Walmart. It's the cheapest grocery store in my area. I'm going to be picking up just $25 worth of groceries, and I'm going to be making a full Thanksgiving dinner out of it, complete with a turkey, side dishes, and a couple of desserts. I love dessert. I am going to be trying to make this an extreme grocery budget Thanksgiving dinner for this year, just because grocery prices are really high. Also, I was just thinking about it, and it's just breaking my heart knowing that so many people go without meals on the daily, and there will be so many people this year going without a Thanksgiving meal. So while I am in Walmart, I will be picking up quite a few gift cards just to send to some of you guys who are struggling financially or struggling with different health reasons. But come along with me, let's go get our groceries. I have $25 in hand. Let's see what we're picking up for our Thanksgiving dinner this year. Since meat tends to be the most expensive item, let's just start in the meat section. So I had originally thought I was going to grab one of these turkey breast roasts. I just thought it would be the best deal, but I could not believe that it was over $4 per pound. As I'm looking at all of the different prices per pound, looking at all the different brands of turkeys, I am realizing that I could get this huge 13-pound turkey for only 84 cents per pound. That's only $11 total. So it looks like this big turkey is coming home with me. Grocery stores often offer discounts on seasonal items during their peak season. Like this can of pumpkin, for example, it is kind of on sale right now for this fall. Next, I'm throwing 2 boxes of chocolate pudding in my cart. You just can't go wrong with chocolate pudding, especially in desserts. Also, I love when grocery stores make their seasonal end cap aisles super cute and festive. Anyway, I always admire it, but I am picking up a graham cracker pie crust along with a can of cream of mushroom soup. There are so many different ways that you can make stuffing for Thanksgiving. You could get super fancy with it. You could basically spend $100 on stuffing, but I have nothing against this box of stuffing for under $1. It's cheap, easy to make, and it has a great herby flavor. I really enjoy it. For most holiday spreads, people like to serve potatoes, so I'm going with scalloped potatoes for our Thanksgiving dinner this year. They're made with real potatoes, and honestly, they are super good. Next, I'm going to pick up 2 cans of green beans. I was actually looking at the price per ounce for those green beans, and I noticed the big, massive value can next to the green beans. It's just significantly cheaper with the same amount of green beans, so I'm going with the value can this year. Anyway, I'm also needing a container of whipped topping along with a 1-pound bag of carrots. I'm also picking up a yellow onion. I find that yellow onions tend to be the least expensive onion at my grocery store, and I find them to have a lot of flavor. Here's a rundown of everything that I am picking up today. My whipped topping, my can of pumpkin, 2 boxes of chocolate pudding mix, a yellow onion, my pie crust. You could use a graham cracker pie crust or a chocolate one. My turkey that is just huge. I'm excited about that. We'll definitely have leftovers. But my green beans, cream of mushroom soup, turkey stuffing, scalloped potatoes, and my carrots. Also, I know so many people are going through different things right now, and I just wanted to help in the smallest way I can. I know I can't go to everybody's house and have Thanksgiving with them, so I'll be adding a few gift cards into my cart for some of you all. I'll share more about the gift cards later in the video, but let's get home and let's get started on our Thanksgiving dinner. I'm also so glad that we stayed under budget. To start our Thanksgiving dinner off, I am just going to start by cooking my turkey. Of course, there's so many different ways that you could cook a turkey, but I'm just going to cook mine in the slow cooker. You could cook yours in the oven or however you choose to do so, but I'll just place my turkey in the slow cooker now. One thing, of course, you do want to do is remove the gravy packet. It is nice that it does come with a gravy packet. And then you also do want to remove the neck and the giblets. You could of course keep the neck and giblets for something, but I'll just set mine to the side for now. I'm going to definitely keep the gravy packet. We will make some gravy this evening. As you see, the turkey is now in my slow cooker. One thing that I do like to do when I'm cooking turkeys or chickens in my slow cooker, as you see, here's the turkey legs, this is the turkey breast, and this is basically a lot of the meat right here. So I do like to cook my turkey upside down. So I'll show you that here in a moment, but we're going to make the butter seasoning mixture now. For the butter seasoning mixture, this is a 1/2 cup of softened butter, not melted butter, I just softened it.
just in the microwave for about 20 seconds, but I'm adding some salt to it. I'm also adding some pepper, Italian seasoning, and garlic powder. I am using some pantry staples from my own home, like butters, oils, and seasonings. I will probably use some like milk and an egg as well, but everything else is coming from the store. But like I said, I will be using some pantry staple items to make this Thanksgiving dinner from home, but you know, most of the other things are coming from the store. We also were under budget, being at like $23. So if you do need to pick up 1 or 2 more items, you certainly can to, you know, still stay in that $25 budget. Now back over to my turkey. As you could see, the legs are up, the turkey breasts are up. I actually like to cook my turkey upside down when it's in the slow cooker. It comes out like 1,000 times more juicy. But just to start, I'm going to brush my butter over the top of the turkey. I'm also going to kind of get it under the skin in the turkey a bit. It's just going to give it more flavor. Okay, now that I have plenty of butter on the top, I'm actually going to flip my turkey upside down, and I'm going to cook it in my slow cooker upside down. This might be a little bit weird, but you just have to trust me. Flip it upside down, butter this other side, and then it is going to come out so much more juicy in the end, as opposed to cooking it right side up, because the juices are going to go down into the turkey breast, as opposed to like draining out of the turkey breast and going to the bottom of the slow cooker. The breast is already at the bottom of the slow cooker, so it is just going to remain super juicy like that. Now I'm going to add in 1/2 cup of water, and this is going to cook on low for about 8 to 9 hours. While our turkey is cooking away, I'm getting started on this dreamy, silky pie. That's at least what I like to call it in my family. It is like a no-bake chocolate pie that is silky and absolutely amazing. I love making it. You could actually make this the day before if you want to kind of like, you know, prepare ahead of time, but it's just 2 boxes of the chocolate instant pudding mix, and then add in 1 3/4 cup of milk. You're going to give this a whisk until, you know, it is smooth, and then it's going to slightly start to thicken up as well. Now that it's looking like this, I am just pulling out my pie dish. This is just my graham cracker pie dish we got from the store. It is a 9-inch pie dish, or you can make your own like graham cracker pie dish. Either way works. Homemade, store-bought, you know, basically like the same thing, let's be honest. Now just add your chocolate kind of like pie into your pie dish, just like this. I guess the chocolate pie filling, I should say. And if you didn't know this, this is basically a lid. So if you remove the top paper and the little plastic thing, put the lid on top, and this is going to refrigerate for about an hour. Now we're getting started on these pumpkin bars. I just love making them, you know, for Thanksgiving. So I did want to give them a go for this Thanksgiving as well. So they do have a lot of pantry staple ingredients in them. It's basically just brown sugar and butter. Mix these 2 ingredients together. It's about 6 tablespoons of butter and 1/3 cup of brown sugar. So like I said, just mix these 2 ingredients until they are well combined. But I did add in 1 cup of flour and a pinch of salt. Now I'm going to stir this super well until it is kind of like crumbly and combined. Now that it's looking crumbly like this, it is time to pull out an 8x8 baking dish. I did line my 8x8 baking dish with foil. That way, when your pumpkin bars are ready to be like, you know, taken out of the pan, you just basically pull the foil out and you don't have like a pumpkin bar mess. But just add your crust just to the bottom. This is a very affordable crust to make. Just because, like I said, it does have quite a few pantry staple ingredients in it. It's very easy and yeah, pretty affordable to make for a crust. Just press the crust down, and this crust will bake in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 10 minutes. Now we're getting started on the pumpkin filling. So it is a 15-ounce can of pumpkin puree. You want to make sure you use the 100% pumpkin puree. This is just the pumpkin puree I grabbed from the store. Next, you're going to add in 2 eggs. I have chickens, so I used my chicken eggs. And then add in 3/4 cup of sugar along with 1 cup of milk. And then I added in some vanilla extract, added about 1 teaspoon of that. Then go ahead and toss in your cinnamon, add in 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, and you're also going to add in 1.5 teaspoons of pumpkin pie spice. Now you're going to just mix these ingredients together. This is such an easy like pumpkin bar recipe. if you're looking for an easy, super duper affordable recipe that has pumpkin in it, that's basically like pumpkin pie, this is a great option for this year. Now that it looks like this, just set it to the side. Here's what the crust looks like out of the oven. It smells like a sugar cookie. It's kind of like a sugar cookie crust, but just add the pumpkin mixture in, and then this is going to bake for about 60 more minutes or until the center is no longer jiggly. Here's what our pumpkin bars look like out of the oven. As you see, it is set. It's not like jiggly in the center anymore, so that is how you know it is cooked, but it is super hot, so don't try to take it out of the foil yet. It needs to cool completely. So that is why I made it this morning, just so it could cool all day and, you know, and become regular set pumpkin bars this evening, but smells absolutely amazing. It smells like a gourmet bakery in here. Now we're getting started on my all-time favorite Thanksgiving carrots. That's what I at least like to call them. They're brown sugar garlic carrots. I am actually using this whole 1 pound bag of carrots, so I'm just going to peel them and I'm going to cut them into smaller pieces right now. Now into this bowl, add in your carrots. As you see, I kind of just cut them into smaller pieces. This is a great recipe if you're looking for like an easy side dish, if you're trying to save money, because carrots are very affordable. And then I'm just going to add about 2 tablespoons of olive oil to the carrots, along with about a tablespoon of minced garlic and 2 tablespoons of brown sugar. I'm also adding in a dash of salt and pepper. Now give this a stir. You want the carrots to get coated in the brown sugar. This is also a great recipe if you're wanting to make it ahead. So I'm actually making this ahead right now. Since I just started my slow cooker, I'm just gonna make this ahead, and then I am going to just bake this later tonight when we're eating dinner. But now that the carrots are coated, I'm just pulling out my sheet pan with parchment paper, and I'll place my carrots right on top. You're going to bake this in a preheated oven to 400 degrees for about 15 minutes. After 15 minutes, just toss them and bake them for an additional 10 minutes. Like I said, I actually am making these carrots ahead of time, so this is just gonna go right into my refrigerator, but I'll bake them tonight. I have my 1 onion right here. I'm going to cut it in half. And I'm going to use half of this onion for the stuffing. And then for this half of the onion, I'm actually going to use it for the green bean casserole. I'll show you what I'm going to do with it here in a moment, but it sounds absolutely delicious and a little bit unique, if I'm being honest with you. Over to this pan on the stove, I just added in about 2 to 3 tablespoons of olive oil. Once the oil is hot, I am going to add in my onions. You could probably tell by now, but we are making kind of like caramelized onions. So this is what I'm going to be doing for my green bean casserole instead of like French fried onions. You just have to trust me. French fried onions, I love them. I have nothing bad to say about them. I honestly love French fried onions, but for a green bean casserole, making your own like caramelized onions for a topping like this is just so much better and fresher tasting. Also, it is significantly less money at the store. So I'm going to let these caramelize for about 15-20 minutes. It takes a little bit of time, but you just have to stir them occasionally. It is also on a lower heat. I just added my drained can of cut green beans. This is my 1 pound can. And then I'm also adding in my cream of mushroom soup. If you do have my cookbook, you probably know by now I do have some homemade versions of cream of soups in the back of the cookbook, but I'm also going to add in about a tablespoon of some soy sauce. I am using low sodium soy sauce. My mom always did that growing up, and I always just thought it was, you know, really yummy. I'm also adding in a dash of salt and pepper and give this a really good stir. I'm going to go ahead and set this to the side now. Here's what the French onions are looking like now that they are cooked. As you see, they cooked down quite a bit and they smell so good. This is going to be so delicious on top of the green bean casserole. Homemade French onions like this are just amazing, you know. Store-bought French onions tend to be stale occasionally, so doing this as homemade on top is just going to be absolutely delicious. I'm just adding the green beans into this baking dish. I did spray the baking dish with nonstick spray, then added the crispy fried onions over the top. Those crispy fried onions are so good. This is going to make the casserole so much better than buying, you know, the regular fried onions at the store because they are homemade caramelized onions. So it's really going to add an element of deliciousness to this recipe. This will go in a preheated oven to 350 degrees for about 15 to 20 minutes. Here's the green bean casserole out of the oven. The onions got like even more crispy on the top. It smells so good. It looks delicious. And I am so glad that I did do like the homemade caramelized onions. So glad about that at this point. The turkey's almost ready, so I'm getting started on the scalloped potatoes. So I just greased my baking dish. I just added the potatoes in there. These are really good, high quality potatoes. If you haven't tried these before, I definitely recommend them. I do find them to be really good. But I'm adding in 2 cups of hot water. This is going to help cook them quicker in the oven. And then I'm also going to add in my 2/3 cup of milk along with kind of like the seasoning packet that the potatoes came with, and just give this a super duper good stir. I'll bake this uncovered for about 25 minutes. Here's what our potatoes look like out of the oven. So cheesy and delicious. I did sprinkle some cheese over the top that I do have in my fridge. I had like a little leftover of a bag of cheese. So sprinkled that over the top for the last couple of minutes, but those are looking good. The turkey's completely finished cooking, so I'm getting started on my stuffing. To this pot on the stove, I'm adding in my butter. Then I just diced the other half of my onion, you know, the other half of the onion that I didn't use for the green bean casserole. I'm going to cook the butter and the onion together for a couple of minutes, or, you know, until that onion gets softened. This isn't really traditionally how the back of the box of stuffing says to cook it, but this is kind of, you know, how I grew up doing it. So my mom used to like to put in an onion, kind of saute the onion. That gives the stuffing a lot of added flavor. So just cook the onion in the butter and then you add the water and the stuffing in the end. But just a great way to do it if you want a little extra flavor for not very much money, you know, to your stuffing. Now that my onions have softened, I'm going to add in my stuffing. This is just the turkey stuffing we grabbed from the store. This is very flavorsome. So this is a great packet of stuffing if you're looking for an affordable stuffing this year. I find it to have like delicious flavor, and it has almost like an herby flavor. So I've bought it quite a few times from the store. Definitely recommend it, but just stir that stuffing in the water right in there. It's about 1.5 cups of water with the stuffing pouch. Put a lid on top and let this sit for about 5 minutes. Easy peasy. Here's what my turkey's looking like now that it is completely cooked through. I am going to remove about 1.25 cups of the drippings. I'm just going to put it in a container to make my gravy, and it looks and smells delicious. Now I'm getting started on the gravy. So I just poured the packet of, you know, the gravy mixture into this pot on the stove that the turkey came with. I love when turkeys come with, you know, gravy packets. Anyway, then I just added in my drippings from the turkey that I have in my slow cooker cooking away. I added about 1.25 cups of the drippings. That is really going to make this gravy exceptionally good. There are like, you know, brown gravy packets that you could buy from the store. I have nothing against them. I do use them often, but this is just kind of a way more delicious way that you can make gravy. I'll let this simmer on my stove for a few minutes just to thicken. If you're looking for a not so intimidating way to cook your turkey, I 100% recommend cooking it in the slow cooker. It comes out so juicy and delicious. Basically throw it in your slow cooker. I like to cook mine upside down like I told you before, just so it becomes super juicy in the end. The breast cook on the bottom with the legs, so all the juices kind of go to the bottom and, you know, stay on that breast and the legs. Here's what the carrots look like out of the oven. They smell so, so good. And as you see, they're like cooked to perfection. Absolutely delicious. Such an easy like side dish that is also very affordable. We're about to sit down and eat. I actually just pulled the pie out of the fridge. It really is looking delicious, but I have my my container of whipped topping right here. Spread it over the top. Oops, I spilled a little. That's okay. Anyway, there you go. This is your pie. It is done. All you have to do is slice it up at this point. I have a little bit of whipped topping left. I'm actually going to save this to top the pumpkin pie bars with. So I'll top some of this on top of the pumpkin pie bars, and that is going to be extra yummy. Here's what everything is looking like. I actually just asked my husband how much he thinks this Thanksgiving dinner cost. I didn't tell him, but how much do you think from the store?
50.
50?
$50 to 80.
50 to 80 is my husband's guess. It was 25.
25?
Yeah, can you
That's
believe
crazy.
that? Yep, we're about to sit down and have dinner. We actually have friends coming over tonight as well, so I'm about to plate this up. Honestly, this wasn't very much work at all, in my opinion, compared to, you know, what it could be. But we have our roasted carrots right here, the gravy, pumpkin pie bars. Also, I'm standing on a chair, so if I fall, don't mind that. Anyway, I have my stuffing green bean casserole with the caramelized onions, the pumpkin, or not pumpkin, excuse me, chocolate pie, and then the potatoes along with the turkey. The turkey is so juicy. I just tried some, but here is our full Thanksgiving dinner. We're about to sit down and eat our food, but I am just blown away at how much food we made for just $25. We have our turkey with some gravy over the top, stuffing with gravy over the top, cheesy potatoes, carrots, 2 different dessert options. Of course, I had to get 2 different desserts, you know, I couldn't just settle on one. That pie looks amazing. And then the green bean casserole. This looks and smells delicious. Thanksgiving made on an extreme grocery budget of $25 this year it just is blowing me away. I am so excited about it. I know the holidays can be different for everyone, and while I'm so thankful I could provide a Thanksgiving meal for my family this year, I know it's not the case for everyone. So to help in the smallest possible way, I bought some $40 Walmart gift cards. If you could use a hand this Thanksgiving, just email me your name and your mailing address to the email listed on the screen. I really wish I could help everyone, and I'm not sure how many people will be emailing me, but I will be choosing at complete random. So please don't take it personally if you don't receive one. I'm always here for you guys, and I might do this again soon. Also, my second newest cookbook will be available on November 1st. I will be going live on here on YouTube at 12 o'clock Mountain Time. I'll just be cooking live with you, and I'm giving away different things. So mark your calendar. I would love to see you there. I could cry. I'm so excited. I'll see you on November 1st. Make sure you're subscribed so you don't miss the next video like this. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.